All right, welcome everyone to the Western Washington University Housing Tour Extravaganza. Pretty much the three of us, as well as Mackenzie, are going to break down what it's like living on campus, as well as the process of applying on campus to the application. And yeah, with that, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Rebecca Rodriguez. I am currently a second year here at Western. Currently, I'm rewarding myself by getting my ears pierced this week because finals are almost here and this quarter's almost over. This will be like my fourth time getting my ears pierced, so let's hope my earrings don't fall out. I am majoring in creative writing, even though I still don't know the difference between effect and effect, but I'll get there, I'll learn. And yeah, with that, I'm going to pass it on. Oh, just want to mention, I'm from Shoreline, Washington, which is about 15 minutes away. And yeah, I'm going to pass it on to Chio.
Yeah, I will. So my name is Chio Aoki Kramer. I use she, her pronouns. I am from Seattle, Washington originally, and I am a behavioral neuroscience major with a psychology minor and the honors interdisciplinary minor. So with all that, I am of course a part of the honors program. And when I'm not working or doing schoolwork, I'm a part of a few clubs, some of them being a cappella club, MISO, which is Mixed Identity Student Organization, and NERDS, which is our behavioral neuroscience club here on campus. And I'll pass it on to Mackenzie next.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. Unlike the others, I work for our housing office on campus. I'm going to talk a little bit more about like application details. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm in my third year here at Western. I am currently studying psychology and communication studies. And I'm from Lacey, Washington. When I'm not working or doing classwork, I am listening to a lot of podcasts, most probably all day.
Hi, my name is Krista, and I'm in my second year here at Western. I'm from Everett, Washington, and I'm majoring in biology and anthropology with a minor in classical studies. And in my free time, whenever I'm not studying or working, I enjoy painting or doing any kind of art really, as well as running or hiking and just being outdoors in the lovely Pacific Northwest. So today, as we talk about our experiences living on campus, we will be playing some photo montages on the screen, and then we will also take a look inside each of the residence halls where we lived. And after this is over, if you still have any questions, feel free to contact our Office of Admissions. And with that, I'll pass it on to Chio to start us off with North Campus.
Yeah, so before we dive in the tour, I do want to mention that even though we are not physically on campus today, we are the land that Western is located on, excuse me, is the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish people. So throughout the tour today, please join me in expressing our deepest gratitude for the current Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe who have been continuously, oh my gosh, my words today, continuously pouring care and protection into the lands that we are occupying right now. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into our housing tour today. My goodness. And so for me, I lived on North Campus. There are three main living areas that we have here on campus. So we have North Campus, our Ridgeway Complex, and our South Campus, which you are seeing right now on your screen. And we are just going to be each talking about all the different things about each of those living areas and few other little tips and things about them. But the main thing that you'll find across all living areas around campus is there are going to be two main types of corridor or living styles, and those are going to be corridor and suite style. Corridor style or hall style is basically what you see in almost every single TV show, movie, college thing. Is basically everyone in the same hallway is all going to be sharing the same bathroom. And the suite style is going to be more kind of individual bathrooms. You share a bathroom with typically 1 to 3 other rooms. So typically around 4 to 8 people sharing a bathroom instead of all the people in the entire hallway. The only difference between them is basically how often the bathrooms get cleaned by our professional custodial staff. The corridor style, they do get cleaned a little bit more frequently. And so that just means the suite style bathrooms, you kind of are in charge of cleaning it more yourself and with your suite mates instead of relying on our custodial staff. But the other thing that you'll find among all of our different residence halls throughout campus is that we have 3 different types of rooms, and they're going to be the single, double, and triple style rooms. So those basically are kind of self-explanatory, but the single rooms, those are going to be just individual rooms where you're not sharing it with anybody else. Typically, those are reserved for people who have accommodations approved through our Disability Access Center or our DAC. And then the double rooms are going to be your traditional typical style. It's based on what the overall price for everything. That's the average price that typically people pay for. And so that's just you and one other roommate in the room. And then the triple is going to be you and 2 other roommates. That's also where the only price difference you see in your rooms is going to show up. So triples, you're going to pay a little bit less, and singles, you're going to be paying a little bit more than the standard double price rooms. And so as far as access and safety, we do know that we really value and put at the highest priority our safety on campus. And so in order to get into all of these buildings, you do need to have a special key or a special fob that will scan you into the buildings. And typically you can only get into your own building with your fob. Sometimes it might be a building around you, but more than likely you're just going to be able to get access into your own individual building. So that way nobody outside of your residence community can get in, and they can, if they're inside, they're basically supposed to be inside. So that's also really secure. And then also as an extra layer between you and everybody else in your residence hall, each individual person is given their own key to their room. So you can lock up your stuff after you leave and don't have to worry about anybody that's not supposed to be in your room when you're not there. And so one more thing I did want to jump into and explain a little bit was about Hall Council. Hall Council is a really cool thing that we put together in all the different residence communities. And it's something that the resident advisors, which Rebecca will talk about in just a little bit, but the RAs, as well as anybody else who wants to be a part of the Hall Council, can join in for that. And basically they plan out different events throughout the quarter. So for example, there was a record painting night for during the spring quarter or fall quarter last year that I got to be a part of. And they supplied us with all the materials we needed. It was super fun. You just kind of got to go in, paint, and have a good time with the people that live around you. In the Edens Hall every Halloween, they also do a haunted house every year. So that is also very exciting to plan out if you want to be a part of that. But yeah, now we'll just switch over to look inside some of the residence halls, specifically Edens, where I lived. Edens is going to be the honors dorm that is specifically reserved for honor students in the program. So it's pretty exciting because then you get to really live right around and right next to all of your classmates. And it's a really fun kind of immersive cohort that you get to be in and get to know your roommates, your hallmates, everybody else in the building. You kind of just start to recognize each other from your classes and everything like that. So that's personally why I chose the Edens Hall, because that was just kind of like an easy extra perk for being in the honors program. And I personally really liked it because the ceilings are actually like super tall. So it actually makes the rooms feel a lot bigger than they are. And so even though my room personally, out of all my friends' rooms, it was the smallest, the way that it was shaped was just like perfect for hanging out. So of course, like pre-COVID, all of my friends, we'd like pack 12 of us in the room and like have a movie night and like have like 6 of us on the bed and all like piling on. It was really fun, really tight-knit community that was created through that. I think like the only challenge I had for living on North Campus was how far away you are from the from our work, like workout center, our recreation center. It's all the way across campus, and I know I say like all the way, but it's really like a 10 to 15-minute walk. But like still sometimes like in the winter quarter when it's really overcast, sometimes rainy, it's kind of hard to like motivate yourself to get all the way across campus to like go for a nice workout or something. But um it was still nice sometimes because then I could get like a pre-workout jog in, like to get there a little bit faster and shorten the trip, I guess. But it was definitely really fun. I did enjoy living in Edens a lot. You get to like walk out and see the water and all these like very picturesque sunsets on nice evenings. So it was always a really fun time to just kind of be around all your friends and also your classmates as well. So with all that being said, now I'm going to pass it on to Rebecca.
All right, everyone. So I am going to be covering the Ridgeway Complex. I just kind of want to talk about my experience living here. So I lived in Beta, and the reason I chose to live on the Ridge was actually because I wanted to be as close to the gym as possible because I literally hate walking and I huff and puff too much for living on North Campus. And I also really like the idea of living in a suite style residence hall that had a little more of a private bathroom, didn't have to share it with as many people. I will say that there are a couple highlights that I really need to tell y'all. First of all, the chicken sandwiches at the Ridge Dining Hall, incredible, the best. I'm telling you, remember this. If there's one thing you're gonna remember this. The chicken sandwiches at the Ridge or any of the dining halls are amazing. Warm Cookie Wednesday, yeah, Warm Cookie Wednesday. Waffle maker, there was literally everything. It felt like heaven. It felt like a dream. I loved it. But I also really liked the idea, and I think all the residence halls do this, where the first week we all wear our shirts that we are given, which are free when you move in, and you all walk down to this area where they have this big event and you celebrate the new year. Hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. And yeah, with that, I do kind of want to highlight RAs, as Chio mentioned. So RAs are our residential advisors, and I like to think of them as the big, older sibling. They can kind of help you from, hey, where do I sign up for classes? How do I sign up? Who do I ask for help? Or I'm having a conflict with a friend or roommate. What should I do? And I really appreciate that because especially if you are someone who is, you've never lived away from home or you're first gen, it can be really great to have that resource and that support. They check up on you quarterly, and they might even help you out with applying for jobs. Like I remember my RA wanted me to be an RA, but obviously here I am. But still, just knowing that I was nominated for that is cool. It makes you feel special. And yeah, with that, I also want to highlight something really important. If you do decide to live on the Ridge, please be aware that you are on a hill. So you will either be walking up or walking down. So make sure you got shoes with good traction. I never saw anybody fall, but you never know. And be prepared to hear that wind sound extremely loud, like you're in a Friday the 13th kind of like movie. But as long as you just keep telling yourself like, it's okay, like it's just the wind, you'll be fine. But also, you will be, kind of doing that thing when you walk by people and you like holding your breath because you're really, really tired of walking up a steep hill. So with that, I want to leave this lovely photo montage and enter into the other pictures of the residence hall that I lived in, which is once again Beta. And I do also want to mention that one of the other differences living in the suite style versus the corridor style like Nash or Nash or Mathis, is that just like how there's kitchenettes in those buildings, what's really great about living in Beta or Gamma, which are both on the Ridge, is they have a whole building which is dedicated not only to a stack of rooms, but also in there is a kitchenette, there is a lounge, it is also where you pick up your mail, there is printing, and it's really nice. I loved throwing bachelor watch parties. If you know, you know. I don't know why Peter was a bachelor, but that's a conversation for a different day. But also it's where RAs can kind of host like these cool little meet and greets where you can meet people who live on your floor or above or below you, or they just want you to meet people in your community. It's also where I believe during finals week, I don't know if they're still going to do this, but when I was there, they did have like tutoring sessions there. So that way, if you wanted to work quietly with just some other people in your area, you could. And now you're looking at the lovely Beta double beautiful room. As you can see, you get a desk. What's really nice is you get a little bit of a view, so you kind of get that twilight energy. You can kind of feel like Bella and, you know, have that vibe. What I really liked is the beds. You have the option of making them higher, and if you're like me, you brought your entire closet, so you can fit everything under and in your closet as well. The two types of closets, excuse me, are you either get a dresser, as you can see, or you get like an actual closet where you can hang stuff. Another thing that I really liked is walking into the bathroom, you get a really big, like full body mirror, and the bathroom is a really nice size. Here we are now looking at Delta. It's kind of the same energy where you get a desk. This time they have the closet and the dresser kind of built into one. And I do want to mention that if you are someone who wants to live in hall style, the Ridgeway Complex offers both. And yeah, with that, I think I'm going to pass it on to Krista to continue.
All right, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about South Campus. And South Campus includes the Fairhaven area, as well as Buchanan Towers and Burnham Wood. And the latter two are a little bit more apartment style, but I'll get into those a little bit later. So as we stated before, you are never required to live on campus during your time at Western, but if you do decide to live on campus, you are required to have a meal plan. So I'll be talking about dining and options for that right now. So we have three different sort of main halls, or for campus, on campus for dining. And they sort of coincide with our different living areas. So we have Viking Commons for North Campus, what you're looking at right now. And then we also have Ridgeway Commons for the Ridgeway Complex. And then we have Fairhaven Commons for the South Campus area. And you can go to any of them that you like, but it's just really convenient to go to the one that's closest to your residence hall or your classes if you want to go to lunch in the middle of the day. So as you walk in, all you have to do is swipe your ID card and then you get in, and that's going to be a meal, but you can stay for as long as you like, and it is unlimited, which is one of my favorite things ever. So it's unlimited. You can walk in, you can sit there for as long as you'd like, and eat as many meals as you'd like. Another thing is that per quarter, there are different meal plans that you can choose. And so they range from 65 to unlimited. And also, if you are living off campus, you can also opt in to choose the 32 meal plan. But if you're living on campus, it's really convenient and super easy to choose one of the higher ones. I chose unlimited my freshman year just because I knew that I would be interested in that. But if you want to like make a little bit more of your own food, or you might not eat as much, you can definitely pick one of the lower ones. We do recommend starting off with a little bit of a lower meal plan because you can always increase it during the quarter, but it's a little bit harder to decrease the meal plan. So just keep that in mind. And as you're looking right now, that is the one of the dining halls. And so when you walk in and you're getting ready to get your food, we have several different rotating sections that rotate every meal. And that includes a vegan and vegetarian option, as well as an international food area and a comfort food area, and as well as a salad bar, a pizza area, and there's always a dessert section. I always loved checking out what desserts they had available after my meals. And also, if you have any allergies or you're worried about anything like that, the ingredients of the meals are always listed and posted right next to the meal, so you can check that out before you grab them. And also, if you are a little bit more worried about that, you can definitely contact our head chef and our registered dietitian on campus, and they can definitely get something worked out with you and figure out a meal plan where you can eat anything that you need to. We also have worry-free zones. So again, you probably won't need to worry about that. And you might wonder, is the vegan and vegetarian food good? I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but one of my best friends was my freshman year, and she never complained about having an option to eat. And oftentimes I would opt for the vegetarian options just because they look so good. and they tasted really good as well. And also with every meal plan that you get, so whatever meal plan you get, you are also allotted a certain amount of dining dollars, and these are dollars that you can use for any of the other dining options on campus. So we have Subway on campus, as well as Panda Express, Starbucks, and a couple other like grab and go markets. And so you can use those dining dollars for those options. And those do roll over every quarter until the end of the school year, but your meal plan swipes do not. Oftentimes we'll have people that forgot to use their dining dollars, and so spring quarter they're using up all of that and buying their friends like coffee and things like that. So you can space those out, or you can use them all at the end. It's really totally up to you, like what meal plan you get and what lifestyle you're looking for. And then with that, we'll exit out of here a little bit and then talk about some of the residence options on South Campus. So we have Fairhaven, but I think we're going to mostly go into Buchanan Towers. So in Buchanan Towers, they're a little bit different style of residence hall because they do have full-size kitchens, which can be really nice. They have an oven, a fridge, sink, stovetop, cabinets, all that jazz. And then they also have ovens on every other floor, I believe, and an additional community kitchen. So here's what one of the rooms for Buchanan Towers will look like. They are double rooms, so you'd be sharing it with someone. And then they also have a little living area that you'd be sharing with another room. So they're like a suite style with a little living area plus a kitchen. So that can be pretty nice. And there's a closet and the desk, as you can see. I have not lived in Buchanan Towers, but right now I'm living in Burnham Wood, which is one of the other options on South Campus. And that one is only open to sophomores and above, or second year students and above. And in Burnham Wood, you also have 2 rooms that would be a double, and then a living area and another full-size kitchen. And so that pretty much sums up South Campus, and I'll pass it on to Mackenzie to talk about our housing application process.
So we're going to shift over to the housing timeline page. This is a page on our housing website. Highly recommend you look into it. And we're going to spend most of the time focusing on the first step. Our housing application has 4 steps, but this first step is where most of the things need to be changed and adjusted. And I'm going to walk through that now. So once the housing application opens, I'm going to talk mostly about fall quarter, but the information is listed for fall, winter, and spring quarter applications. Fall quarter is already open. It opened February 1st at the time of this recording. It has been open for a bit, and May 1st, it will be closing. So the way that the housing application works is you've got a priority application timeline, and if you submit your application during that, anytime during that timeline, then you are considered a priority applicant. That means that somebody who applies February 2nd and somebody who applies March 3rd are going to be considered at the same priority level. When you open up your housing application, you want to make sure that you've confirmed your enrollment at this point. If you're hitting the end of this priority application period and you want to submit an application but are still going through the process of enrollment confirmation, then go ahead and send us an email at the housing office and we can help you along that way. But in other cases, once you've confirmed your enrollment, you're going to use your Western email and select the application for the term you've admitted. In this section, one of the first things you're going to do is answer some survey questions. It'll ask you questions like, how late do you like to stay up? Do you like to have your room tidy, or are you a little bit more comfortable with having some mess? It'll also ask about visitors, if you're more comfortable with visitors or less comfortable with visitors, or even you're okay with visitors sometimes, but you want to make sure that you've got a dedicated time to work in your room. All of that stuff can be marked on your survey that you're going to fill out. The other thing that you can fill out in that survey time is going to be interests in some of our other room options, which aren't, they're different categories that you can have in your room. So You can apply for gender neutral housing and pride housing, which are two things that, again, more information is on our website. You can also sign here if you are interested in a disability access accommodated room for like a single room. You will mark that on your application and then reach out to us in the Disability Access Center to keep that going. So you're going to fill out all of that information on here. After you've submitted the survey aspect, you can go into the roommate options, which are still in this first step. The roommate options, you have 3 different ways that you can kind of make your roommate. If you already know that you have somebody who's coming to Western at the same time as you and you want to be their roommate, then you can just automatically request them. One person would request, the other person would confirm that acceptance, and then you would be put into a roommate group. The other option is to go through our roommate manager. Our roommate manager is going to be the process of like going through, you can fill out your little bio and answer like some questions about who you are, what you're like, what residence hall you want to be in on campus, all of that kind of information. And you can search through and say, oh, this person has some similar like interest in major, or this person has a similar interest in room on campus or like location on campus, and you can send them messages, and then after you've had like conversations, you can say, oh, this person seems like they'll be an optimal like roommate for me, and you can go through the same process of requesting them, and as long as they confirm that it like request, then you'll be put into a roommate group. The last option for that is to be automatically like assigned a room and roommate, which is what I did. I ended up with a roommate that we really meshed well. We will take all of that information from your survey and find somebody who is going to be as compatible as possible for you. All of that is going to happen during this application, and now we can move on to our second step. The second step is going to be to check My Housing, the same place that you put in your application, to see when a deposit is due. When we send out notifications for deposits being due, that is our information, like confirmation from us to you that we have space on campus for you and would like for you to come live on campus with us. Those notifications for fall quarter start to go out in late May, and the deposit is going to be about $200 as long as your room at the end of the year, at the end of your stay at Western, is left with minimal damages and you are leaving at the end of your contract, not breaking your contract or anything like that, then you can get that $200 back as a refund at the end of the time. Moving on to the third step, once you know that you have been requested to live on campus and you've been sent that notification for a deposit being due, you're going to pay that deposit. All of the information for how to do that is going to be on My Housing, just like everything else has been so far. And for fall quarter, July 1st is that deposit deadline. If anything changes, like deposit deadlines, then you can go ahead and check our housing website. All of that information will be updated as soon as we know information to make sure that you're up to date with as much as possible. If you do not pay by the deadline, then we will cancel your application. So if you hit the like mid-June and you find out, I think that I'm going to live off campus, then you've got a couple options to cancel. You can either just not pay your deposit, or you can send us an email with your name, W number, and the information that you're just like, it's not for me, I'm going to go ahead and find somewhere else. But if you do want to live on campus, like we hope that you do, you're going to go ahead and send in that $200 for the deposit by fall quarter, July 1st, winter quarter, December 15th, or spring quarter, March 15th. The last step is to check My Housing for your room assignment. This is also something that we're going to do a little bit differently, depending on like the process, kind of like roommate manager. You will have a time to either select a room if you're in fall quarter, or you're going to have a room assigned to you in the same process that it was assigned if you chose to have your roommate assigned to you. We'll take all of the information from your application and try to find the best fit for you. If you're going through the room selection process, then there are a couple rounds of it. July 1st through 25th is when the first round of room selection goes through. Typically, we're going to start with bigger groups selecting first, and then smaller groups selecting after, just so we have enough space for everybody to fit. August 1st through 15th is the round 2 of room selection. And then if you have not selected a room by August 15th, then August 16th through 31st, assignments will be made automatically for you. All of that information is going to be posted to your My Housing, just like everything else. And if you have other questions, feel free to reach out to us at the housing office. All of our contact information is online, or you can jump back to this housing timeline page to see if you've missed anything in this conversation and have other questions to be answered. That's kind of everything that I have for me. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our housing office or our admissions. We have a lot of departments on campus who have a lot of information to help you out with if you have any questions on any step along the way. I don't know if anybody else has anything to chime in, but that's kind of everything I've got for you.